What's up? How's everyone doing? This is gonna be a bit of a wild weekend. We are doing a 72-hour game jam. If you're not aware, I think the link's down in the description. If you want to go check it out, see, we almost have almost 200 people have signed up for it, which is really cool. So we'll probably get about 50 or so entries that y'all will be able to play. An escape room where you use C# codes to open doors. Interesting. That would be pretty meta, having to code inside of a game that you coded. So yeah, I'm curious to see what y'all's guesses of what my game is. I saw someone said an old western. No, wrong. Portal, also no, that would be cool. And not horror, actually. So I kind of took a I kind of went to left field with mine, and I was like, oh, I want to do something completely unique, and not have it like, a normal escape room like you would go to and participate in. So I ended up making here, I'll share my screen, and we'll see if y'all can guess it with the screen share. So this is my dev, my scene so far. So now what do you think it is? So I'm actually, yes, it is underwater. You will be underwater, but I am trying to actually replicate a movie a little bit. Does anybody know what movie? Maybe the picture in the back will help you out a little bit. Escape the Fish Tank VR. I will need help for a title, so maybe y'all can help me title this. Yes, Nemo. There we go. So I went with Finding Nemo. So I wanted to make like, you're stuck in the fish tank and you have to escape like he does in the movie. And so I'm kind of like creating that. I think it'll be kind of fun. Hopefully there's no like copyright issues or anything. I mean, I'm not trying to sell the game, so I doubt there'll be any issues, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. And we can come up with a generic name instead of Nemo to not piss off Pixar or something like that. But yeah. And also I kind of want to do a one where you can do it sitting down too, which is kind of nice. Helps, some people out if they have a small space or want to do it sitting. So that'll be nice. It's basically like swimming, like you're swimming like you would in real life. And then there's not many mechanics right now. So I've basically just been doing a lot of scene design. So I have a picture of the Finding Nemo fish tank that I found online. So this is when it was dirty. And you'll see we've got the pirate ship in there. And a lot of these are models that I found on Sketchfab. So I went to Sketchfab. There's actually a Sketchfab plugin for Unity. So I can just search, pirate ship in here. And there's over 500,000 free Sketchfab items, and you can, I'll uncheck the staffed pick ones, and I can just go through and, find a pirate ship in here. And one of these was one that I selected. So this integration is super useful, so I don't have to go to the Unity asset store and then come back, or, go to, Sketchfab and download it there and then import it into my project. I can just click on whatever one I want to import. It'll pop up and I hit download model, and then I can even add it to my current scene right now. So this is a super nice little plugin. I might actually do a little mini video about this, but it's been really nice. So I added in the volcano, the ship, there's a little clam over here. I think I want to find the diver. I haven't been able to find the diver yet, or a good diver that I want. So the diver goes up and down and like spins his arms around, so that would be cool. And then the kind of all the seaweed and rocks and kelp and whatnot are from an asset called what's this asset called? Ocean Environment Pack. Maybe I'll I'll post this video afterwards, in case y'all want to go through it, watch it again or whatever, and I'll add the links to all the assets and stuff that I'm using, and I'll add the links to all the to my jam page as well. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of theme design. Got a little reference material here. I actually have a clean fish tank reference too, so this is from the other side. So you see we've got the basically it's as if you're looking at the tank from this side now, and it's got the volcano, and then this side is just like a little tiny house, and then a bunch of I might try to color some of these kelp and stuff and add a little life to whatnot. So I don't know if y'all remember Finding Nemo, but the premise was, he gets in the fish tank, and they're trying to escape, and the first attempt is they go through and like go under, and so basically Nemo has to pick up a rock, and then throw the rock over into the filter, which I have this little filter here. And so he throws it up over, and then has to jump over the little wall here, and then inside of the filter there's a very scary little spinning blade that I have yet to add in here, and he has to toss his rock into the right spot to kind of get it to jam up. And so the idea for this escape room is you basically just have to follow along the story, and you have to remember the story. I doubt I'll give people any hints. Y'all can help me out with this if you want, to help me think of like ways to direct people who have never seen Finding Nemo. And honestly, I'm forgetting what the second the way he got out the second time. I need to go watch it tonight just to make sure I have everything up. But he goes into the water filter, jams it up, and then swims back through the tube, because there was like a little turbine that was basically a one-way access to jump over. And then he has to swim back through the tube, but then the turbine turns back on, and then he has to does he do it again? No, I think Gil does it the second time. This time for this game, it'll be like you jam it and then you do it successfully and it's fine and you get out. And then I actually have already set up a cool little effect where it turns the whole fish tank like dirty and adds in some fog and changes the fog color, so it's like that very scrungy kind of feel to it. And that's actually pretty cool. I can show y'all that in a minute. Wow, words are tough. I've also had a lot of coffee, so if I am talking really fast, I had lots of coffee yesterday and some energy drinks, and this is my third cup of coffee so far. That doesn't sound like a lot. Usually I have 2 or 3 coffees a day, but let me go through chat really quick. How's everybody doing? You don't have a VR set. Odd question. I don't have a VR set, only uses my Android and cardboard holder. Is that an issue for publishing? So Google Cardboard, something along the lines of a Google Cardboard would be kind of difficult to publish. Like, I mean, you could do like the kind of gaze interactions, but the problem with Google Cardboard and those kinds of things is it's very it's not very interactive heavy. So if you can at all possible, try to do try to see if you could find like a used Oculus headset or something to get. Or you can, the Unity has like mock HMD as well, so you can like test out actual interactions and stuff without using the headset. That's actually something I want to make a video about in the future too. Disney has a lot of references in history to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Maybe that would that is a good idea to avoid the IP issues. Do like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea type thing, because that story is older than the Nemo story. Yeah, I'm planning on doing the hands as fins. That'll be cool. I haven't figured out how to do it right. Probably when I first start out, it'll just be floating fins, but I would like to attach it to like, you know, a shoulder, like your shoulders or something, like, you know, back behind your range of vision. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. I haven't gotten that far yet. I was thinking about using like a interaction toolkit, like AutoHand or Hurricane VR, or like the VRIF, to actually, you know, get it working. But I don't know, when I tried to get the swimming motion working with those, it didn't really work out too much. Your childhood traumas are coming back. Thanks, Mohammed, for the support. Yes, that would be cool if the girl came in, was like tapping the glass. So my plan is for this, for today. So yesterday was like planning, and I got the basic like swimming motion down, and today is going to be roughing out the. I got a little distracted with scene design, but today is supposed to be roughing out the actual game. So getting all of the steps in the escape room working. So you see I have a game manager up here, and it will like make the, you know, the fish tank go foggy. I can actually make sure the lighting is turned on, and let me play it, and then I'll see if it shows y'all what that looks like. So the idea is, you find a rock on the ground, and then you have to jump up and over here. And right now, there's no like limit. You can just swim out of the fish tank and keep swimming around. So I have to figure out how to do that too, like add extra gravity or turn off swimming when you are, you know, above the plane of the fish tank. And also, if any of y'all know any good like water assets, because I want that cool like water effect on the top of the fish tank, but I haven't figured out any good assets or what would be cool for that. So you jump over, where you have to throw a rock over first, and then you have to try to jump over this little gap here. So that'll be like the first obstacle. And then when you have a rock in here, you have to jam it into this little spinning turbine here, and that is basically going to trigger a event which will start the fish tank. So I can basically start that, and you'll see the fog starts to come in a little bit. Everything starts to get a little greener, and this is on a time delay, so it takes about 60 seconds to fully manifest. But you'll see it like, and I'll turn the pictures off. And the environment tank, the back wall is, there we go. So this is like the scrungy tank. And then I haven't figured out how to get like, you know, the dentist is supposed to come in and scoop you out of it, and put you in a plastic bag. And then the idea was for them to like roll off of the balcony and escape that way. But it happened when they were sleeping. So I don't know. So maybe y'all can help me out with this. Should I just make it so it's like, you know, a very simple escape room, but it's cool because it's themed like Finding Nemo, where you know, mess with the fish tank, it gets all dirty, and then maybe I'll have it like fade, because I don't want to like, you know, be picked up and moved, because that's very motion sick. So I may have it like fade out, and then you like fade back in sitting next to the fish tank. And then from here, you can try to swim across and then like swim all the way down. And maybe it's like a little mini game where there's a dentist that like looks at you and then looks back, that kind of thing. And then you have to like get off the windowsill, or maybe I'll try that first, and then because I think adding in a whole lot of extra steps is going to be very difficult. So I may just do that. It'll be like, you know, jump over, make sure you throw the rock over as well. Because if you don't throw the rock over, like, you really just kind of lose, because you can't, there's no way to get back. Maybe I'll make it so you can get back too. That's where like a lot of playtesting and stuff comes in. Thomas, you haven't been able to get auto hand to work. Your VR hands are not in position. Oh yeah. So there's just like some offsets that you can mess around with. I've actually talked to the creator of Auto Hand, and I'm gonna make a setup tutorial video for that. So that'll look for that here in the next couple weeks, actually, for like how to set it up and how to like adjust your hands and whatnot. You're still trying to come up with a game idea, Kevin? Oh, you gotta be quick. You have like a day and a half left. It's we're coming down to the wire. Oh, you were gonna participate but got sick, Greenview. Oh well, next time. I'm planning on doing a lot of these. I would love to do like, you know, 1 a quarter, maybe something like that. The next one actually might be an AR game jam, because I've got several requests for augmented reality game jam, because honestly I don't know if there are that many like AR game jams, and I know there's more and more like people who are interested in that kind of thing, and with the Quest coming out with a pass through mode, and they have like the spatial anchors and stuff now, and I might transition to start teaching a little more AR stuff involving the Quest too. So yeah, we'll see. I have a lot of plans for this year. I'm really excited. Like last year was with the channel was, I mean, really my first year doing game development and stuff, and then this year and so like it was just kind of for fun, but then the channel like took off, and then now I'm trying to dedicate more and more time to actually getting the jam working and whatnot. If you throw the rock at the glass, the tank breaks, you slide down, huge water stream leaking out, and it becomes a raft steering game. That seems a bit ridiculous. How would they know you have to throw the rock at the glass? Yeah, Kevin, just like the point of the game jam is just to, you know, figure out what you need to work on, and what, you know, skills you don't have, and like so some people realize, oh, I don't know how to build a game. Like I've been, you know, playing around with it in Unity, but I've never actually had to build the game for the Quest or just for multiple headsets, and so they have to like realize that. The next model will absolutely have a color pass-through mode for the Quest. That's for sure a thing. I'm actually really excited for the next Oculus Quest. Or is it going to be Oculus anymore? Did you all see that the Twitter account went down? The Oculus Twitter account? They finally shut it down because Oculus was like, you know, Oculus isn't Facebook. Oculus was a company, and then Facebook bought them, and then, you know, they finally kind of phased them out, and now it's all Facebook or Meta now. So here, let me show you actually how the game kind of plays. So I'll actually put my headset on and do the swimming. So wake up. All right, so the way it works is you can move your hands around, but you only swim when both controllers are both grip buttons are pressed. So when I have both grip buttons pressed, I kind of swim around, and it takes into account the vector direction of you know, it takes both hands directions in mind. So I could like swim up here, and then the idea is you go up and over, but like there has to be a little jump, so you have to get like momentum to get over this little gap. And then down here will be like the little spinning blade of craziness. And maybe if you like touch it, or if you get too close, you get like sucked into it or something. So you have to like, you know, maybe have a couple of pebbles in here and like throw them at the blade and try to get the right spot for it to like jam. And then you have to, let's see if I can, yep. You'll have to swim back up the tube here. Spin around. So yeah, I don't have any other like motion. So you can snap turn, but like the only other way to move around is by swimming. And there's like colliders and stuff. Like there's a collider on my head, so I can't leave the tube now, even though I'm in here. Although this is kind of cool, like a cool little. And I found like a glass texture material for the tube. Woo! And then you're back in. And then over time, the fish tank will kind of blur out. So actually I have a little pebble over here. Where is it? There you are. And the swimming motion is actually kind of cool. You get used to it after a little bit. It takes a little getting used to. So there we go. Now I have a little pebble and you have to swim with one hand now. Oh, there's my homage to Turtle. If you're in the Discord and know what that is about. There's got to be a turtle. There doesn't have to be. If you're making a game, it doesn't have to be a turtle. But that was one of the choices for a topic. All right. So right now, oh, let me go. Oh, I can't go down. Oh no. What is happening? What the heck? What is? So obviously I haven't tried this far. Tried it this far. Okay, there's some weird force field. Oh, maybe I'm hitting myself with the. Oh yeah. So, yep. So that's something we'll have to fix. Is the collider of the little marble here, which I'm using as the rock, actually collides with my head. So you'll see if I push myself, I can actually. The two colliders interact and then it like kind of throws me off. So that's what that issue was. I was kind of putting the ball too close to my head, but we can fix that with interaction layers. So the idea is you like throw the rock over, and as long as it gets into the cube surface area, there we go. Then it should jam the little blade from spinning, which we can set up with animations in a little bit. And then here you'll see it's already starting to get foggy and green. And then I can increase the delay a little bit more. But that's kind of the general idea there. Oh, and there's there's the picture. My reference picture. That's what I have so far. Is that's as far as I've gotten for this particular jam right now. It's called MetaQuest now. Yes, this is a Finding Nemo escape room profit. Yeah, the theme is escape room, and so I didn't want to go with the generic escape room that everyone else is gonna do. So I wanted to, recreate a movie. I reread Ready Player One recently, and in the books, the book is so much better than the movie. If you have not read Ready Player One, like not watched the movie, read the book. The book, like all the challenges are completely different. None of the there's like one that's slightly similar, but all the challenges in the book are completely different than the challenges in the movie. And it's so good. And one of the challenges he has to do is basically go through a movie, but it's a game. And so he has to, and he's one of the characters. I think it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And so he has to actually like speak the lines of the character in the right timing and the right inflection. He has to do all the actions and stuff, and so I kind of got a little inspiration from that. And I was like, I'll recreate Finding Nemo a little bit, and like have you have to, do some things. If you like Ready Player One, then read Damon, and it's Follow on Freedom. Okay. They're different. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in the movie as well. What was it? Follow on freedom. I'm writing that down to look up later. Cool. It was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yes, one of them was Monty Python as well. So yeah, he had to do it twice, I think. One of them was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I think. Or it was another like Ferris Bueller movie. And then the other one was the Holy Grail. All right, so what should I add to this? So I think what we need to do next is here. I'll show you the code. So what I have so far is the swimming controller here is basically we have a swim force, drag force, a dead zone. I've actually just turned these off. They're 0 now, I think. Or the drag force is 1, but the dead zone and the interval are both 0. And then we have references to like the controller grab buttons, so I could swap it over to be triggers if I wanted to. And then here in the fixed update is we basically are checking for a cooldown. And so if you want to add a cooldown, or if I want to add the cooldown, I can. I haven't. Maybe I'll put the source code up on Patreon after I'm done with it or something. But if I want to add a cooldown, I can. And then it basically checks for if both of the grip buttons are pressed, and if they are, then it reads in the velocity values, which I added as an extra input. So if you didn't know, you actually can adjust the input sample. So I'm using the XR Interaction Toolkit. I'm not using like AutoHand or VR or Hurricane VR or anything like that. I'm using your basic free XR Interaction Toolkit. And I just added in, so on the left hand and right hand, you'll see there's a velocity action down here now. And I basically, you have to specify the specific controller. It doesn't let you do like a generic velocity. So I just have all the controllers listed here. And now I can reference the velocity action inside of the, so over here, y'all probably can't see that. So I have the swimming controller over here, and then I basically just have a reference to the controller, and then a reference to the velocity action. And so it's just, I can pick it here, left hand / velocity. And then in the code, I can use that velocity. Basically, I add them together, the left and right hand velocities, and then set it to the opposite. So you're pushing backwards, and so you move forwards, kind of, like swimming. And then I basically check to see if it's greater than the dead zone force. So like, if I wanted to, I could add in a little dead zone. So if you're like moving your hands a little bit, it doesn't actually affect your movement. But right now I have this turned off as well. And then I also have the interval turned off. So it's just always going to be updating and adding the force. And then down here, I add in a little bit of a drag force, so it feels like you're swimming through water and not just like in space. And so you actually get slowed down a little bit. So that's my basic swimming controller. I came up with this yesterday. I used a couple of YouTube videos. I just searched how to swim in VR, and a couple of videos came up. And so I kind of mixed and matched a few different videos there to come up with this, and like messed around with it a little bit. And then in my game manager, I basically just have so like a singleton, and it has how long do I want the tank to transition over to the like dirty effect, and then the color of the fog and the lights, and like, what color is the dirty actually, and then how dense should the fog be too. I might actually bring this down a little bit. 0.9 is still a little dense. And then I have a reference to the light that we need to change, and since the fog is a global value, I don't actually need a reference for that. And then I'm basically subscribing, or I have an event here, and it's like once the filter is blocked, this event gets fired off, and then all the things start happening. And the way you fire off that event is by putting the rock into the little spinning blade of death, which right now is just a little trigger area. So once the rock passes the trigger area, it calls this method invoke block filter, which invokes that, and then on block filter is subscribed to it. And so once the rock gets put into the right spot, this coroutine kicks off, and it basically just goes through. I have a transition elapsed time and a how long should it actually be, and it kind of just loops through that until for however long I want, and it will lerp it lerps the density, it lerps the fog color, and it lerps the directional light color, and so all of those just kind of change. And then down here we could actually kick off another event. So we could do like a if we want to teleport outside of the tank, we could add that in here. So I'll do an enumerator, and we'll do transition out of tank coroutine. I like to name all of my coroutines coroutine just so that I don't call them without actually starting them. So like you have to actually call a coroutine inside of a method start coroutine. So now here, after we finish lerping through the tank getting dirty, then we can start this transition out of tank coroutine. So we can do start coroutine transition out of tank. And then here we'll probably wait a little bit. So like after you fully transition over to the coroutine, I don't want to instantly teleport you. I want to probably wait a little bit. So we'll do a yield return new wait 4 seconds, and then we'll make a variable like transition wait time. And then I'll make a new variable there. So Alt Enter, create a serialized field. This is why I love Writer, because it just automatically does that for me. So those are dirty tank values. And then let's make a new header here. These will be transition values. I like to try to keep everything organized. Drop that space up there. Cool. So we are making the tank dirty, and then we are transitioning out of the tank. So we're waiting for a little bit, and then we can carry on and do whatever. So we can, I'd like to fade to black, kind of like you're falling asleep, and then you wake up and you're in the bag. Also, hello everybody. I'm still reading chat. It's up here on my screen. Make rotation smooth and done by flapping one hand in the opposite direction. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know how motion sick that would get though. Like I try to, there's like that weird line between too realistic and it's just like super ultra realistic, like it matches everything 1-to-1 in the real world, and then like gamify it a little bit. And so that's where I kind of lean towards the gamify, is I don't want to make people motion sick. I want people to still be able to play and be able to, do that. Do I have any idea how to create 4-legged movement? Like you mean having sensors on your legs and you have to like crawl around like a crab in your room? Or like you make the other 2 legs like procedural or something? Like what are you trying to accomplish, Venice? because I could give you an answer, but I'm not quite. It depends on what game you want, what game you're making. A dog escape room. I would probably just make the front 2 legs be your controllers, and then the back 2 legs would have to be like procedural or something, which would be kind of hard to do if you're not good at procedural coding, because you'd have to learn that pretty quick, because we only have like a day and a half left of the jam. Probably almost a full, yeah, we have a little more than a day and a half. So it doesn't end at midnight, it ends at 5 in the morning Eastern time, so it actually goes into Monday morning, so just to kind of give you a little extra time. It's getting down to the wire. So today my goal is to get all the functionality done, get like the whole, rough it out, a white box as they call it, so basically just get all the interactions working once Unity catches up. So like be able to go through all the steps today. That's my goal today. And then at the end, I would so the first day was planning and like super basic core mechanic, which was the swimming core mechanic. That's what you're going to be using the whole game. And then today is kind of specking out the level, and getting all the steps in place and make sure things fire after one another. And then tomorrow is going to be all polish. Like my goal is to get the game done today. I'll probably even put a build on itch so y'all can try it tonight if you want to. And then tomorrow, so that'll be like my alpha build, like not completed yet, but just to make sure I have all my ducks in a row and everything's figured out as far as build version goes. And then if I can't build to, if something happens and my computer crashes, then I at least have some version of the game up on itch for people to play. And then that's my goal for the end of tonight, is get the basic gameplay working, the whole game working, but it's not gonna be pretty. Like it's gonna be just boxes like this, and like I don't even have a outside of the room. Like there's no dentist office yet, and this is just reference material, so that doesn't actually exist right now. And then, whoops, where is it? Tank. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is all I have right now. It's just the tank. And so today is to get my whole game working. You can get from start to finish, probably even a menu screen, really rough basic menu screen. And then tomorrow is going to be all polished. I'm going to add an audio and particle effects, and maybe even some dialogue, and then like do the nice things like fade in right after if you click go on the menu, it fades out and then fades in, maybe like a rush of bubbles or something around you, do all that kind of stuff. And so that's usually how I structure these 3-day game jams, is planning and core mechanic the first day, and then the second day is getting the game functional, rough it out, and then the last day, like the full 24 hours of the last day, is just polish audio, sound effects, particle effects, adding in the little extra things that make it nice and feel good and feel like a completed game, like the menu and a splash page, making a Photoshop picture of the make a Photoshop picture for your thumbnail kind of thing. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So if you guys want to play, all of that to say, if you want to play this game early and get a little alpha access, I will be posting a build to itch by tonight. That is my goal. So if you want to get a little head start, and then you can give me feedback and tell me what I need to kind of refine and fine tune tomorrow. I would actually really appreciate that. Some alpha testers. Adam, how do you set up the index and Vive controllers and the input action setup to make sure they work? Your game only works with the Oculus right now and keeps stating that there's no reference to the others. Index and Vive. Oh, I actually saw that error. That's a new error. I actually had it in my console earlier in the stream. Actually, if I play, let's see. Oh, it's not going to happen now. Of course it doesn't. But I did see that error where you have it doesn't support index or Vive. I have an index over here that I'm going to test with. So my goal is to have a APK build for the standalone quest, and then also a PC build for people who have the index and other non-quest headsets to try. And so, yeah, one way to do it would be to list the other controllers individually in the action. That would be annoying, but it's a way to do it. So you just go to project, and then you go to your samples folder, that sample you downloaded from the input action toolkit, and then open this up, and then and you don't have to do it for every single one of these. You just have to do it for the ones you actually use. So position and rotation, obviously, you would just make a new one, add a new binding, and then you would go to XR controller here, and then make sure you're doing the right or left hand, and then I clicked on so this is the generic controller up here at the top, but you can scroll down and click on your specific controller. So if you have a index controller, you can go left hand and then device rotation here, and then you have the index version for it as well. So that is an annoying issue, but that's how you fix it. So basically, well, you would want to copy exactly what they have here, except swap it from the generic controllers to the actual controllers. How should the generic work with most controllers? Should the generic? Yes, so the generic should work with all the controllers. There's some buttons that some controllers have that other controllers don't. So the Quest has these has like menu buttons here. So I have so the Quest has like the menu button right there, but a Valve index controller only has two buttons, and then this is an off button. It's not an index, it's not a menu button. So if you want to have a menu for the Valve, you have to set it up differently. So you'd have to have like, oh, well, you press both grip buttons, or both like A and B at the same time, brings up your menu. And then like here's a HP Omnicept controller, and it's got a menu button and a like a home button. So like the Quest has only the home, like the Quest, so like one controller has a menu, the other controller has the home button. On the HP controllers, they have a home and a menu button on both controllers. So it's, yeah, they're all just set up differently, and no one really has like a standardized way to set up your controllers. So you just kind of have to adapt to it, and it becomes annoying when you try to support tons and tons of headsets, or like all the headsets. Will I be making a video about finishing a VR game with optimization and build? Yes, I would. There's a lot of videos that I have on my list right now. So the main, I would love, so procedural hand has been the most asked for video that I have gotten asked for in a while. So I'm going to be working on that pretty heavily. I'm going to be talking about the assets like Auto Hand, Hurricane VR, doing like dedicated review and setup videos about those, just because a lot of people have been, you know, wanting to use those, and it also saves you hundreds of hours of coding, which is very nice. If like those assets fill your specific purpose for your game, then highly recommend using those. And then also getting to like more build stuff too. I've realized that I have not made a build video yet, so I will be making a optimization and build video. That's probably good. I'll combine them. So in my head, I was like, I'll make a build video, but do I want to combine them into one optimization and build, or just build? I'll probably make one short video that's like, here's how to build for a headset. But yeah, so like in this project, I've done a decent amount of optimization stuff up front. So And there's a lot of like small stuff that you like don't really realize that you need to do when you build a game. So like you have to reset the company name, because I guarantee you when I play a lot of these games next week, this is gonna say default company on a lot, like the majority of the games. Like, so you want to change this usually for your name, with your name if you don't have like a game studio, and then whatever your the name of the game is going to be. And so I actually have to rename a lot of the APK files that I get because they're all named VR Jam. And so I don't know which, like, is this the one from this guy or is this like this other title? Because they don't name the product name as like, what the game's name is. It's named VR Jam, which to be fair, mine is also named VR Jam right now because I don't really have a title. I probably should rename this to like Escape Nemo or something. Something like that. Also, what so now that you know the game idea, do you guys have any title ideas? Because I am terrible at coming up with like good catchy title names. Escape the Tank. Ooh, I like that. That's simple. It's so simple. We could go with that one. We'll do it all in one name. Escape the Tank. That's a pretty good one. We'll go with that one for now. But also, like, you can have an icon in here, so I could add in, like, if I Photoshop a picture of, just Finding Nemo's face or something, I could add that in here. And so now if you download it like to PC and you add it as like a desktop icon, this is what's going to show up. And then like there's other like things, like I've swapped over to linear space because it's more performant than gamma. And like here, like your splash image, you can update this to be, instead of the Unity logo that shows up, you could have your game studio's logo that shows up. And you just have to add in a texture here. And then you can preview it. So like Unity right now, but you could have your logo too. Let's see. Here's a lot of where the optimization stuff that I did was. So when you start out with a project, you'll have Open, GLES, and Vulkan, and I removed the Vulkan renderer because, well, the Vulkan renderer is in pre-release right now. It's still in beta, I guess. I'm not quite sure what state it is, but it's not fully released yet. So I removed that one. Let's see. I changed the light map encoding to low quality because I don't really care that much. Multi-threaded rendering is very important. So if you have a computer with multiple cores, this will allow the multiple cores to be used. Let's see, what else did I change? I increased the minimum API level. So Android, or the Quest requires you to have at least a Android 6.0 API. So I upped that, and then I changed it to, this is default, but it's automatically the highest quality. You'll want to use the IL2CPP scripting backend, which is just better. More like, it allows you to use .NET 4.0 and up. It was a little faster, kind of a scripting backend and whatnot. So there's a lot of like little settings in here. So also swapping over to IL2CPP allows you to use ARM64, which is required for the Quest as well. So ARM7 is checked by default, but you want to use ARM64. Let's see, what other settings did I change? This new input system that happens when you swap over to the when you download OpenXR, because that's what OpenXR is based off of. I think over in quality, yeah. So I made a new mobile HD quality, and this is what my game is using. So you start out with the low, medium, and high. So I'm using URP as a pipeline, and you start out with this low, medium, and high pipelines. or render modes, I guess. And so I have it set now to, if you are building for Android, to use my new mobile HD settings instead of the, I think it was using medium by default. So you can just select which default option to use. And so we're using mobile HD, which comes in here, and I like change some of these settings here. So it's I'm using 2 times bilinear. The quality anti-aliasing is 4, and then I think I changed this additional lights. It was at 4. I just dropped it down to 1, and then upped the shadow resolution a little bit. Jamming Nemo. Oh, I thought it said freezing Nemo. I'm like, that's not quite right. It doesn't follow the theme. Let's see, I upped the max distance for the shadows a little bit, but then I also increased the amount of LOD levels. And then there's a lot of like little bitty tweaks you can go through and make, and so I'll do a video about that a little bit later, because yeah, there's a lot of quality of life things that, like, you know, it works fine on my PC, but then when I port it over to my Quest, everything breaks. And why is that? And so you want to have different settings for when you're building to Quest than when you're building for PC, obviously. But you know, it's a game jam, people are going fast, like that's something that a lot of people won't do, and so they will have stuttering for their in the game. I also come in here to physics and up my solvers. Just, I think they started at like 1 or 2 or maybe 5 or something, but I increased the solvers to like 50. Is that increases the amount of times physics is getting checked. And this isn't actually a physics game too much. I'm actually I'll add in a little gravity. Not a bunch though. I had it at 0 gravity. Let's see how that does. I changed the gravity. Let's see how gravity works with a little bit. Oh, I don't even actually fall. Ooh, my little ball does though. Woo. So I can throw my rock. Yeah, 4 is a good gravity. That feels good. It's like not quite like dropping automatically, but this is actually a pretty cool little ship. Bloop. I would totally live there if I was a fish. Live in that ship. Yeah, this is cool. And I want to add in like little callbacks to Finding Nemo. Like, I think it'll be really funny. Time to make a Unity template for Oculus. Yes. We have a template. Ooh, here we go. Here's the errors you were talking about. I forgot who it was. Venus? Was it Venus? Who was talking about their input errors? Here we go. So we got interaction profile HTC and the Valve are unsupported, which is interesting because I have not seen these errors until today, ironically. So that's very curious. So we may have to remove or go back in and change some of those. And I have an index, so and I'll do this off stream because it'll kind of take some troubleshooting, but figure out, you know, what the cause of these errors are and how to fix them. And maybe I'll post in the Discord. If you're in the Discord, I'll post my fix there if I find one today. More drag in the air so it acts like water profit. Okay. Can you add global drag though? So I have -4 physics. You've got cloth gravity. Cloth gravity should be 0 if there's any of that. Is there a way to add global drag? I think I might have to add it to the specific thing. Let me find the little rock thing. Where are you? Nope, it's not environment. Gameplay. interactable rock. So what if we up this drag to 0.7 maybe? I think it actually started at 0 and I upped it to 0.5, so it was like increased a little bit, which is good. Let's try this out. And also, if you're new, I'm making a Finding Nemo escape room in VR for our game jam. All right, let's throw this and see how. Oh. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I like that. 0.7 drag. That's a decent amount of drag. Let's fix this like weird interaction thing. So I want to label this with a grabbable layer, and then my player I want to have a here, I'll make a player. These are all left over from AutoHand. I'll actually remove all of those, and then we're gonna make a player layer and an interactable layer. And then in the physics settings, we'll set those to not interact with each other. So player and interactable don't interact with each other, and also player doesn't interact with player. And then back in our scene view, for our player, we have to find not the rigid body, but it is the collider that needs that layer. So it's a player. And then our interactable rock can be interactable. Let me save that, and then we'll see if we can actually whack ourselves in the head with the rock and not have any issues. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, perfect. So now there's no issues with the rock except for the weird clipping, which is kind of unavoidable. All right, let's go through our game again, because I really like this. I think it's fun. We have a little glass. Oh, though, that's kind of weird. Did I change a setting? My glass texture is not transparent anymore. All right, I have to swim back up the pipe because it's going to be a one-way valve. So I should probably add a restart button in case people get stuck. Yeah, why is my it's not transparent anymore? It's kind of annoying. Did I change something? It's because you guys are here. That's why. Yeah, here we go. And then it gets all cloudy, and then we start with the oh, I might get an error actually. Because I didn't finish the code part of so let's do let's add in a transition spot. So where we were was we do this dirty tank coroutine that will loop through, and however long we set our kind of fade time to go, elapses through here, and then transition out of tank coroutine starts, and then we want to basically fade the player's vision to black, so like they're going to sleep, and when they wake up, they so we'll fade it back out, and then we will have them like teleported to another spot. And so to do that, I'm thinking I'm just gonna have a big UI, like a flat UI that's black, like right in front of the player's screen, and I'll have it turned off, or not even turned off, but the alpha value will be all the way down to 0, and then we'll just bring the alpha value up, teleport them, bring the alpha value back down. And I'm teleporting instead of doing like a weird movement, just because that would be quite nausea-inducing, which is not what we're going for. So we check up on messages. Floating instead of sinking when stop swimming. Ah, that would be interesting. Having like an up gravity. I don't know. I would have to add, it wouldn't be gravity. I'd have to add it specifically to the player controller. But that's interesting. And that would actually help the gameplay a little bit, I think. I might have to play around with that. That's a great idea. Um, you started last night, Prophet, but didn't get anywhere. Escape room made you think you had to do an escape room. Makes sense. And you have another game started that would fit. Crawling cave escape. Oh, but you started it like before the game jam started? You're not allowed to do that. But you could take code from the... You have to start a whole new project, but you could like take code and do it. I mean, I'm super flexible. I don't care as much. Like I'm really just trying to prevent people from like, you know, adding in an already like finished game, you know, into the submissions, and it's like cheating because, you know, you spent several months building this and it's like super nice, and like, you know, that's kind of obvious. And since we don't have like a big pool of prizes, I don't really care too much if you use like code that you've used before or code from another project. So yeah, I mean, this game jam is very casual. It's for learning. Is there a reason I use writer over code or studio? Yeah. Writer's just, it's so nice. And maybe I just like it. I think it's faster than Visual Studio Code, that's for sure. The integrations with Unity are really nice. So if you'll see up here at the top, I can like play. So this play button will play Unity from Writer. So I can go ahead and hit play, and it will, well, I need to attach it first. So I can directly link Writer to my Unity editor, and then I can hit play, and it will automatically start playing Unity. You'll see it popped up and started flashing because it's like in play mode now, which is super nice. So yeah, see, I'm in play mode. So if I like, you know, needed to just test stuff and not even run the like application, then, you know, it's super nice to do that. And then also there's a lot of built-in like Unity like stuff like this. You'll see this is underlined with yellow. And this is a plugin that I added into Writer, but it's like a free like add-on type stuff. And this basically means this takes a little bit of a performance hit. Like it requires a little more performance to do this particular action. Same with the new keyword. Anytime you're using new, will require a little more performance. This subscription, well, it's basically saying the block filter starts a coroutine, which is a little performance. So that's why. And then it also gives me a lot of cool info. Like you'll see here, I have this set to 9, so like this variable. But if you notice over here on the side, I don't know how much more I can scale it up. It says it's actually 0.08 inside of Unity in the inspector, so it's different. And so this one's unchanged. This one, like it says it's serializable. And then you can always click on all these and get more info about it. And then you could also just go directly to like source code or the documentation for particular things in here too. So I just like it because it integrates with Unity a lot nicer than Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. And the hotkeys and stuff are really nice. Like if I wanted to, for instance, like turn this into its own method, I could just do Control-Shift-R, extract method, and then rename it to like something, and then boom, it automatically pulls out these two variables and it creates a new method for me with the thing that I just highlighted. Like it's super, super cool, like fast type, you know, refactoring type things in there as well. So highly recommend Writer. Not sponsored by them. I wish I was sponsored by them. That'd be cool. It's like it's free to students, and there's like it's either a 1 or a 3 month like free trial, and you can, you know, play around with it. But it's like, I think it's like $200 a year, but it's a weird pricing scheme. Like the price goes down every year that you have it. So it's $200 the first year, and then it's like 180, and then it's like 150, and then it like goes down every month. It's interesting. It's like their incentive for you to keep paying for it, I guess, and not like quit 1 year and then come back again kind of thing. But I like it. It's very useful. And you even get like interesting stuff like this method is frequently called kind of thing. Yeah, Jason Wyman um, uses Writer as well. Oh, he gives one away every day, every game dev show. That's cool. Yeah, so if you go watch his live stream tomorrow, you might get one if you participate. You keep trying, Prophet. It has not been the time yet. Oh yeah, you can get a student license. Yeah, if you have a .edu email address, then yeah, you can get a free license. All right, let's do this transition thing. So what I need is I'm gonna need a transition point. So a serialized field transform transition point. And then let's see. I also need a reference to the. So inside of references, let's do. You'll notice that I never write in a whole word unless it's a variable. Unless it's the first time that I'm writing the variable, because autocomplete is so nice too. Like I will type in the first 3 letters and then hit tab, and it's like autocompletes for me the whole time. It's super nice. So let's see, references, we need a reference to the UI screen that we're going to put in front of the player. So that's going to be a canvas group. What should we call that? Canvas group? I've tried to get better about naming variables, like being a little more descriptive instead of just canvas group is canvas group. It's canvas group like it's the fade to black canvas group kind of thing. Like just in case we have more, or if someone else were to come in and review my code, or especially when I'm doing tutorials, it makes a little more sense if I am a little more specific in my naming of things. So inside of here we transition wait time, and then we're also going to have another enumerator, and this is going to be fade. We'll just call it fade canvas group, and this is going to fade in and out our canvas group. So then up here we need a fade duration float, and then we'll call it, we'll just call it fade duration in seconds. So there we go. That's a good spot of like, me naming my variables a little better is, fade duration, but it could be fade duration in milliseconds, fade duration in seconds, fade duration in minutes, hours, whatever. So fade duration and then in seconds, whatever type it is. And then we'll set this to, what's a good number? 4, 5? We'll start with 4, see how that goes. Transition wait time, we'll set that to, we'll set it to like 60 seconds. So like you wait 60 seconds for the tank to get dirty, and then you wait 60 more seconds. You can kind of like, swim around, explore, or whatever, see how everything looks when it's dirty, and then you'll start to fade out. And since it's a escape room type thing, it's very linear. So we're just kind of linking one into the other, and so we're doing the dirty tank coroutine, and then we're doing the transition coroutine, and then we're doing the fade coroutine, and then so on and so on, and each one links to the other. So, but we're going to make this fade canvas group multi-purpose. So I'm going to add in a bool here, and it says is fading in. And so now we can either fade in or fade out the whatever we're fading. So we'll say start coroutine, fade canvas group. Oh, I need to rename this too. Fade canvas group coroutine. And then we want fading it in, so true. And then we want to yield return new wait for how do I wait till the end of a coroutine? I forgot. We may just have to do like a global variable like bool is fading, and then if that's true, then we'll go into it. If it's not, so while is fading, yield return null, so wait till the end of the frame. And then after that's done, so we fade in, and while we're fading, we're just basically waiting. And then after that, we want to teleport the player. So we're gonna say, we don't have a reference to the player yet. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna need a serialized field. Oops. Game object, and this is just gonna be the player. And then we want to move the player. So we make the tank dirty, and then we wait for a specified amount of time, and then we fade to black. And then while we're fading to black, since it happens over the length of more than one frame, then we will kind of just wait for that to happen. And then after that, we want to teleport to the new position. So we're going to have our player dot transform. It's going to be equal to the what do we call that? Transition point. There we go. Why are you giving me an error? The transform. Oh, duh. Position. Position, and then I'm going to duplicate this line, do the same thing for rotation. So we can specify the rotation if we want to. You can't set transforms, you can only set the position and the rotation of the transform, which is kind of annoying. Like, I would like it if you could just set the transform, but sometimes you have to play by Unity's rules. So yes, if you are just joining us, I'm making a Finding Nemo escape room. So we have a little Finding Nemo type fish tank here. You have to get into the, I don't know why my my glass renderer is not working right now, but you have to get into the little filter, lodge the rock in there, swim back out. The fish tank will fade to like a, it'll add more fog, and the fog color will change to get like very dark and dirty and whatnot. And then we're gonna wait another specified duration, and then we're gonna instead of you getting scooped out of the fish tank and plopped into like a bag or something, since one, that's a kind of hard to code for a 72-hour game jam, and two, it would be very motion sick. So we're just going to instead do a like little scene transition type thing where you fade to black and then get teleported and then fade out of black. Oh, you can set position and rotation. Warp, do you help me? Like, you've helped me several times. Hold on, we have to try this. Layer dot set, or you do player dot transform set position and rotation. Look at that. Transition point dot position, transition point dot rotation. Or can I just send? Probably not. Nice. Okay. There are multiple ways to do everything. Are you making Grounded but in a fish tank? Yeah, pretty much. It's a Finding Nemo simulator. So basically you're just playing through Finding Nemo. So I was reading Ready Player One the other day, and they, in the book, the good version, not the movie. I mean, the movie's good, but the book is far better. He has to basically play a game where you are the main character of a movie and you have to say all the lines at the right time and do all the actions at the right time. And so you yeah, so that was kind of my idea for this. You can't just do yield, return, fade. I don't think so. I mean, there may be a better way to do this. If anybody knows of a better way to wait for a coroutine to end before starting a new coroutine, let me know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one right now. Yeah, Warped has a good channel too, for sure, if you're interested in more VR content. Wait until... Cool. Okay. So like that's the same thing as this while here, so wait until, and then we can do... is fading. Oh, yield, return. Yield, return, new, wait until. Aha! There we go. I like that. That's more clean. Thanks, Julian. Is voice detecting and activating possible in VR near future? Yes. Oculus actually has a lot of voice activation stuff right now. The new HP Omnicept I just got has a lot of cool voice activation stuff, and it's really fast too. It uses Microsoft's Cortana, basically Microsoft's version of Alexa, but it's like really, it's really nice. It's very, very quick. You can be like, go to the home screen, and it automatically like snaps you over there. So voice stuff is, I mean, that's the future. So once voice kind of gets into, everyone's talking about like being a higher resolution of VR headsets or being, having like faster frame rates and stuff, but like that's not the exciting part. The exciting stuff is when voice recognition catches up to VR, when you can just speak whatever you want and it converts that speech into an intent. And so like that's the hard part, is because you can say things a whole bunch of different ways, like turn on the light, turn that light on, that light, turn it on. Like there's a whole bunch of different ways you can say things, and translating that speech to an intent is the hard part. And so that's what they're developing AI algorithms for. And so once that catches up, and you can and there's an API right now called OpenGL. I think it's not OpenGL. There's an API for that, like the machine learning algorithms, and it's basically, it will respond to you based off of like what you say and stuff, and it's like a AI type response, so you can do like NPCs and stuff. And so yeah, once that gets in there, VR is gonna be really cool, because in Skyrim you'll be able to say like Fus Roda, and like it'll actually, that they might actually already have that in there right now, but you'll be able to like, instead of having to select what dialogue option you have, you can actually speak the dialogue option, or you might not even you just might not have dialogue options, and you'll be able to walk up to a NPC, and then like the developer will have programmed the NPC to say, okay, his occupation is this, he's headed here right now, and like this is a little bit about his family or something. He's like a 35-year-old who makes bricks, and he's headed to the wheat factory, the wheat farm, to get some more wheat so he can make bricks. And so like that's the developer will program the AI with the NPC with these like 3 or 4 characteristics, and then you as a character will be able to just walk up to that NPC and have a full-on conversation with them. Like how cool is it gonna be when Skyrim, like you'll be able to have like a 30-minute conversation with every single NPC, and it's gonna feel nice and natural and organic, and not like, you know, they run out of dialogue options in 3 replies. Like, you'll be able to full on like converse with NPCs. That's gonna be cool. And that's like when AI and VR stuff like link. But yeah, that'll be cool. Real life Oblivion NPC. Wheat bricks. No, don't you have to use wheat for bricks? Like back in the old times, they added wheat into bricks to add, like, it's like when you add rebar to concrete, but it was like, you know, on a less sophisticated scale. That's a real thing, right? Meta gives it to you for free. Yeah, Meta has actually been coming out with a lot of cool SDKs, and I am bricks are 100% made out of bricks. Are made out of 100% bricks. You're not wrong. But anyway, that's what I'm excited for. That was a weird little rant that I just went on. But anyway, so where were we? So this transition out of the tank, it requires several moving parts. So we've got the wait for seconds delay at the beginning. We are fading the coroutine in here, and so at the beginning we start by setting is fading to true, and then we end by setting is fading equal to false. Goodness. And then inside of here we could have yield, wait, yield return, null, and there'll be some while statement in there. We'll build that up in a little bit, and then we wait until is fading gets set back to false. Wait until is fading is, so this should be false. So wait until is fading is false. And then we can move on, and then we set the position and rotation of the player. So basically we just teleport them out of the tank, and then we want to basically fade back in. So we will, I don't know why we were doing some yield here. So we'll basically copy and paste both of these. But instead of fading the canvas group in, we want to fade it out, so false. So wait for a specific time, fade the canvas group in, teleport us, fade the canvas group back out, and then once that is finished, we can start some other gameplay, start another coroutine here or something like that. So the fading, how does that work? So we need a reference to a canvas group, which we set up as a variable earlier, and then we need a fade in time, which we have, and then we need a fade in duration. So we are going to set a private variable that is current fade duration, something like that, except it's going to be a float, not just a variable. Float current fade duration starts at 0, and then while current fade duration is less than the fade duration in seconds, we want to basically fade in the canvas group, which we can do by saying canvas group dot alpha. So access the alpha value, which fades us in and out, and then that's going to be equal to current fade duration divided by fade duration. That'll give us our value there. Oh, we need to initialize this at 0. There we go. And then at the end here, we want to, we'll do the yield inside of this while statement. And then we want to also add current fade duration plus equals time.delta time. you probably do that before. That makes sense, right? Sure. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so for fading, so this is if fading, current fade duration, and then we basically want, and so now we need to determine if we're fading in or if we're fading out. And so we're gonna say if, or we're gonna set current fade duration. How do we do this? What's the best way? There's so many different ways to do this. Okay, let's do it like this for now. All right, so if, all right, canvas group.alpha is going to be equal to is fading in, question mark, and then if it is fading in, then it's going to be increasing every time. But if it's not fading in, then we want it to be decreasing, which is going to be, crap. I have to do math live. Yield return wait for end of frame instead of null. Oh, it should be the same thing, right? Oh, you gave me the tip about the wait until, so, but I am under the impression that yield return null just waits for the end of the frame instead of having to do yield return new, wait for end of frame. Yield return start coroutine should do the same thing as like an async, you would think. That would be nice. I wonder. Can you do that? Yield return new start canvas group? These are all very good questions. I've clearly not messed around with coroutines as much as I should be. Bricks are made of, yeah, so we already did that. Oh yeah, I have not finished this yet. So basically we want to increase the fade duration if we are fading in, and we want to decrease the fade duration if we're fading out. So this should be the same every time. But we'll say fade duration is, if we're fading in, then it is going to be 0. And if we're fading out, then it's going to be fade duration in seconds. And then instead of adding in here, we'll say if is fading in, then we'll do this. And then else we will say current fade duration minus equals time dot delta time. Does that look right? So we're trying to make this multi-purpose, so you can fade in or fade out. And then we want to, if we're fading in, then we start at 0, and then we add delta time every time. But if we're fading out, but then we have to change this while statement then. So we'll have to do, oh, we could just do 1 minus. Yeah, I'm doing this the hard way. Goodness, Justin. Okay. We are definitely doing this the hard way. All right, so inside of here, we will do a check. So we're gonna say is fading in, question mark. And if we are fading in, then this standard thing works perfectly fine. If we're not fading in, we're going to do 1 minus current fade duration divided by fade duration in seconds. Does that work? No, it'll be, no, not 1. It'll be fade duration in seconds minus current fade duration. So as we're coming up, the number will get smaller. Yeah, that should work. There we go. Hey, Bryant. We are going pretty good. I'm doing math, and math, especially live, is rough. I had to take calculus twice in order to pass it in college. So it's like, I don't know, I like to think that I'm good at math, but then I actually have to do it. I don't know, it's one of those things where I have to do over and over and over again in order to understand it. But once it clicks, I can get it and I can do it every time. So, does this look right to everybody? So we're increasing current fade duration every frame. But since we want to fade in or fade out, the basic equation is to do the increasing number divided by the end number, which is good. And then here, I think this is right. This is right. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Cool. So we can fade in, we can fade out, and we can teleport. So let's test this and see if it works. I'm gonna swap back over to Unity. And then our manager, we want to set everything up correctly. So we need a transition wait time. We'll keep that at 0 for now. Or let's do 5 just to make sure it works. So we need a transition point. So I'm just going to create a empty transition point, we'll call it. And then move it out here, and then rotate it around. So we spawn, oh, not out here. I basically want to spawn right here. And then you have to do some kind of swimming motion or bump up against the side of the wall in order to roll your, thingy thing to the end. Okay, rotation, 0, 180, 0. All right, so far, you have to, and if you've been watching the stream, there's spoilers to, well, not to Finding Nemo, even though, I mean, I hope you've seen Finding Nemo at this point. There's spoilers to my game, so it'll be really easy for you to solve. But if you would like to play it, it's still gonna be fun. Hopefully, I hope it's gonna be fun. Maybe I'll add in little like Easter eggs you have to swim to. If you like take the time to explore, you get bonus points or some cool dialogue or something. A different ending. And then, so the idea is you pick up a rock off the ground. You jump over the water filter thing. I need to figure out the jumping type mechanic. You lodge the rock into the little spinning wheel of death, which we still need to add. And then after the spinning wheel of death stops, which is that's a potential lose point. So potential lose point, game over states are you jump into the filter without a rock. That's a game over state because you're not supposed to be able to jump back in. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how to handle that. The second game over state would be you collide with the spinning blade of death, and maybe we'll make it like suck you in. So the idea is like, I want you to die at least once, probably. Or maybe you have like a 50% chance of the rock sticking the blade or something. And then, but you run out of rocks, you lose. And the blade, if you get too close to the blade, it sucks you in and then you lose. So like this will be like the hard part of the game. But so the smart people will throw like 3 or 4 or 5 rocks over the wall, and then they'll jump over, and then try to use those 3 or 4 or 5 rocks to stick the blade. And then once that gets stuck, you can come back over the tube because you can't jump back over. And then the tank will get all dirty, and then you'll fade to black. Oh, I need to set up the canvas group. And then you'll teleport out, you'll fade out of black, and then you have to kind of push yourself out. And then once you get out onto the windowsill and fall, that's like game over, I guess. That's how we do it. So I had to add a canvas group to the player. So in front of the main camera, we're going to create a UI, and it's going to be a panel. The canvas is going to be world space. We want it to be very, very small. I'm going to reset the position as well. Let's do 0.1 is fine. And we want the panel to be black, totally black. So it like blacks out your screen, and totally opaque as well. And then we want it to be like right in front of you. Yeah, there we go. So like that. And then we'll make sure the camera clipping is set to very low. Yep, so that's fine. And then on our panel, we need to add a canvas group. And this basically gives you the alpha property. And so we can drop the alpha down. And so it's going to be hidden the whole time until we transition in or out. Sorry, I've been, I'll get focused on dev and I'll forget about chat sometimes. So let me set this up. We'll test it. I'll come back. I'll re-chat. So we need to set the canvas group, which we have on the panel. And then the player needs to get set because we teleport the whole player. All right. And we're starting out the canvas group faded out. So alpha value is 0. So fade in. Okay, this should work. All right, let's try it. We're gonna play my whole game. Oh goodness. That's a lot of errors. You're trying to read Unity Engine input. You have swapped to a different input system. Oh, so when I added the new UI, that was the first time I'd added Canvas. So it always starts you with an input system that connects to the old one. So if you want to update it to the new input system, you click on this button, it automatically swaps it out. But this one doesn't work with the XR interaction toolkit. So you have to delete this, add a XR UI input module. There we go. Now I could interact with the UI if I wanted to, but I'm not planning on interacting. Well, I'll have to create a menu scene later, but all right, there we go. Oh, it's not gonna go full screen for y'all? Maximize, there we go. So here's the game, if you haven't seen it so far. So we have, I don't have fins or hand representations yet, but the way you swim is you press both of the grip buttons and kind of push yourself along, and then you release the grip buttons to kind of like coast. And so it's a, like a breaststroke kind of swimming motion. I mean, you still have snap turn in here as well. So all of that works fine. All right, where's my pebble? There we go. It's more of a pearl at this point. All right, grab that. And then we can swim up to the top there. Swimming, 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 swimming. All right, I jump over. I am far enough away, and then I throw my pebble. Oh, that's gonna be kind of hard. I need to decrease drag a little bit. God, this blade is gonna be giant. All right, so I basically collide with the correct spot, and then I can go up the tube, which is supposed to be transparent, and it was transparent earlier, but something happened to my shader, so it is not. And then now you'll see that our tank is starting to transition to a growth state And so this should take about 60 seconds. We should see a fade in of just a black screen after about 60 seconds. So it'll be 60 seconds, waits 5 seconds, fades in for 4 seconds, and then teleports us, fades out for 4 seconds. And our little turtle here. Shiny turtle. This is an homage to the other choices of the Game Jam. Other turtle was a Game Jam theme choice. All right. Okay, there we go. Here's the fade. Teleport. And we got so close. Fading out didn't work. Oh, I didn't assign a teleportation point? Dang it. We got so close. It would have worked too, probably. Oh, I never assigned it. I created it, but I never assigned it. Okay. Oh, wait, before we go back. Yeah, I'm going to cheat this time. So I added in a developer hack here. So instead of maximizing on play, I'm going to hit play. And then inside of my manager, I have it set up so I can just trigger a... Where's my manager? Oh, it's in Don't Destroy. So inside of my manager, I have it set up so I can just trigger the tank going dirty by via the inspector here. So I just right click on it, click invoke block filter, which basically is just this context menu. And so I can fire off this method from the thing here. So we can see, okay, so we faded to black. Let me put my thumb over this so it... Okay, so we haven't faded to black yet. So we're still waiting. Waiting. I should have decreased the time. Here, while we're waiting, I'll read chat. Prophet. You had to go pick up a couch. You're the one who volunteered. What's the method I prevent player from walking through walls? I just have a collider and a rigid body on the main canvas, or not the main camera. So you'll see there is a sphere collider here, and then the player has a rigid body on it. Oh, there we go, fade, and we transitioned out. And then, are we gonna fade out? Oh, it's not fading out. Something's wrong with our fade code. That's annoying. Okay. So the math is not working. But yeah, so the way I prevent my player from going through walls is, since I'm using a physics-based movement system, I can just add on a rigid body and a collider to the camera. And it's a little sphere collider. It's like a 0.25 radius here, and makes it so I can't swim through walls, which is nice. Is there a way to make multiplayer in all scenes? That is a large topic. I am planning on doing a multiplayer tutorial, but I recommend looking into something like Photon Pun 2, or Normcore is a good one for VR getting up and running pretty quickly. There's another one, can't think of it off the top of my head. There's another one though, I don't remember. Yeah, multiplayer is a large topic, so I would get good at single player stuff and then start doing multiplayer. Oh, yeah, my video is 720p because I have to pay like $500 extra a year for the 1080p, which I might boost it just because I'm starting to stream more. And oops, Since I actually am streaming more and a lot of it involves me screen sharing, I'll probably do the extra. But donations would help, or if you want to support me on Patreon, that helps pay for camera equipment and headsets and me going full time potentially in the future, and making tons of videos. Photon and VRC both use Among Us and VRC both use Photon. Cool. You need to do a video on screen fade. Use one using post-processing. Huh. That's clever. That is pretty smart. Cool. Do y'all have any questions so far? Or suggestions for my games? Any extra things I should add in here? We need to go back and check the what is this? Okay, so our screen's not fading out correctly. And the reason is why? Just make the next big viral game, of course. How hard could it be? Well, two really big games came out this weekend. Wanderer and Zenith MMO both came out this weekend. So those are large, high quality games. So if you're interested in, playing some VR games, which I highly recommend you play a lot of VR games if you're interested in developing for that kind of thing. Play some games and play like Wanderer, because I think that one's going to be pretty good. And Zenith has gotten some pretty good reviews too. Oh yeah, adding in some like particle effects and stuff to the swimming would be good. Yeah, bubbles. Yeah, I want to add I think the force, like the constant upward force to make you like rise to the top would be cool if you're not moving. It's just like a slight like, float force to the player. And then I think it would be cool to add like particle effects and stuff. And I need if any of y'all know a good like shader or asset that has a cool like water surface like shader, that would be cool. And I need to like be able to see it from the bottom. Like I want to look up and see like just water kind of like flicking about at the top. So yeah, bubble trail behind like basically any fast moving object you interact with, or your hands. That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be really fun. Okay, so why is this not working? So if we're fading in, then we set current fade duration divided by fade duration in seconds. This one, oh, thanks, Jazzing, I appreciate that. Pretend rocks that are piles of sand. That would be kind of funny. That is I like that. That's a good idea. Like just you pick it up and it just kind of crumbles and it's sand, and you have to like go around. It's like a little scavenger hunt at the beginning of the game. Oh, here's a interesting. So how do I go about teaching the player to swim at the beginning of the game? That's a good question that I have. Like, how do I tell the player that they have to press both grip buttons and pull themselves along like they're swimming, but then you need to like release the grip buttons at the end of your stroke, and like each stroke is a grip pull. How do I do that? That's something I'm stuck on. Animate some see-through hands. Ah, that's clever. Yeah, just like hands like pressing the grip button and doing a little animation. That is smart. That's like, so this is all stuff that I would want to add in my polish day. So after I get like this working, and I don't really have too much more today. I'm trying to keep everything super, super small for this game. Is to, yeah, I want to add in like the blade today, the spinning blade, and I want to make sure that like you can actually get to the ending. The screen fades back in, and then yeah, I'll do the I'll like add in like extra like a little tutorial type thing and a menu, maybe an in-game menu that you can like restart if you get stuck or something. Lots of like little nitpicky type things. That's tomorrow's job. Today I have to get fading working. Goodness. Okay, so why doesn't this work? Oh, because I never... No? Okay. So current fade duration gets reset at the beginning. Yeah, okay. I didn't hit any errors though, which is good. This is set to false. Let's do some debug log statements. Debug log is fading in equal to is fading in, and then let's just say what the alpha is. I mean, I guess we could look at the alpha. Yeah, let's do that. And then inside of here, I'm gonna move all the time down to its lowest option. So let's do 1 second here, 1 second there. The fade can stay at 4 seconds. Just to kind of test this. And then I want to look at the panel. Okay, so our alpha's here, and then, oh, but I gotta go to the manager, and then go ahead and kick everything off, go back to the panel. Okay, so we're fading in for 4 seconds. Teleport. We don't even fade out. There's no fading out. Nothing happens. In fading in, so it triggers, it starts. It starts the next method. Is good. Does it wait? Hold on. Math abs alpha -1. Ah, that's clever. Okay. I like it. So we'll try that. So this will be the same every time, but then we'll say if we are fading in, or if we're not fading in rather, then canvas group alpha is equal to 1 minus canvas group alpha. And we want to do the absolute value of that too. Okay. Or we could do a, we'll need to clamp this between 1 and, let's do math dot clamp. Why does math dot clamp not work? It's so annoying. All right, we'll test this. So we set the alpha, but then if it is if we're fading in, we just basically invert it. Does that make sense? We'll try it. We'll see. We'll see if it works, Julian. All right, managers, kick this off. All right, so we're fading in. Done. And we're fading out. Nice. Clever. Very nice. Cool. Use math instead of mathf. Yeah, that's what I was doing. The math dot clamp. It should be math dot clamp, right? I don't know. It works sometimes, but then sometimes it doesn't. It's very strange. Cool. So we've got that working. And then I basically just want it to be like you're like in a sphere. So we'll make a I'll go to like Pro Builder and make a sphere. Or I guess I could do like a regular sphere. I don't know why I automatically think of Pro Builder. Sphere. And then we want the sphere to be about a radius of about 2, I think. So it's not a radius, a diameter of 2. So we'll just scale it up a little bit. And then I actually want to go back to Pro Builder for this. So object, we want to flip the, so we'll have to, has to be a Pro Builder object to flip the normals. Is that it? Yep, that's why I wanted to do Pro Builder. So tools, Pro Builder, a new sphere shape, radius of, yes, radius of 1, so 2 diameter. And then I can select that and flip the normals. And then I basically just want to duplicate it and then make it like just slightly bigger. And then flip the normals on this one back to regular. I'm sure there's a way to do this easier than I'm doing this, but and this is going to be called a we'll call it a bag. Drop both of these in here. I kind of want to center that a little better. Yeah, there we go. So you get teleported inside of here, and then when you bump up against the wall, I want it to rotate. So this is where we're going to add the rigid body. And I'll have to play around with the physics here. And then you get to go right here. Maybe I'll end up making it bigger, but and then I have a shader that oh yeah, it's being weird. The heck? All right, let's do edit, render pipeline, universal render pipeline, upgrade. Yeah, what the heck? This was working earlier. Promise you. So it's like a glass shader. Yeah, we'll just use that, I guess. And so I want the inside and the outside to be kind of glassy, and then I want you to be able to see through it too. So we'll turn the opacity down, up, down. This is how No, I'll have to come back and play around with that. Shaders and like materials and stuff are not my forte. Usually it's coding. So the idea is you get teleported into this little ball here. So we'll move this point there. And it'll be like, semi-transparent, so you can actually see through it. But it looks like you're in an actual like bag type thing, like cellophane type bag, and then you kind of push, and then once you get off to this point over here, we'll end. So I'm gonna add in just like a box. We'll add a cube over here. I want it to be like right here. We'll put it right here for now. Fix the rotation there, and then this can be like 20 by 20 or something like that. So if you get to this box, you win. And of course there'll be like a flat surface, and I'll kind of, make the whole little doctor's office area so you can look out and see the doctor's office through the glass and whatnot. That's all tomorrow's polishing stuff. So here we've got a box. So I'm going to change it to a trigger. And then I have a really useful script that I use called onTrigger event. And it's basically like figure out what tag do we want, so player, and then what happens when the player enters this. And so basically we just want to win the game. And so in our manager, we'll create a method called like win game. And this is the onTrigger event. It's like a really nice, simple, versatile type script that I use. And it's basically takes in a tag and it compares the enter event with that tag, and then it performs some Unity event whenever onTrigger enter happens. And so it's super nice because I can just drop it onto whatever object I want. And I have a similar one set up for colliders as well. So if it collides with something, then something happens. So like I can use that for particle effects and audio and haptics and stuff. And then in here I can just say, okay, well, I want to do something in my manager. And I don't have it set up, but I would just say like, win the game. So like over in game manager, we'll just have a public void win game. And then right now we'll just add in a debug log. You won. Oh, are you complaining? Oh, I put it too far. Yeah. And then in here, we can just access, after Unity refreshes, the win game script. Oh, thanks, Jazzling. I appreciate that. There we go. Win game. And then that'll kick off another coroutine probably that's like roll credits, fade to black, roll credits, transition you back to the main menu scene, and all that kind of stuff. Which I could add all in here if I wanted to, but I like doing that kind of stuff in the script. So am I building like a flat screen game first and then going back and adding VR controls and camera stuff? No, it's already an existing game with like VR stuff. Like you can swim around in it. Here, I'll show you. So if I hit start, I just have some interactions already set up that allow me to go ahead and test things without having to go into VR, like context menu stuff. But yeah, here we go. So I can swim around in here. And the goal is to get like a rock. Where is it? there it is. Here's a little rock. Grab it. And then swim up to... Oh, I'm going to smack the microphone. Swim up to this little water filter. So it's Finding Nemo, if you have ever seen that. And then inside of here, there's like a terrifying spinning blade thing, and you put... Oh, I just smacked the... There we go. And then... Yep, and I fade to black, and now I am... not where I was supposed to be. Oh, to my... the little ball fell. I don't have a ground yet. Yeah, this just fell into oblivion. But yeah, and I'll add in a little more lead time to the fading out now. So I can do like 60 seconds there and then wait another 60 seconds and then we'll fade out. And I need to adjust all the glass textures. The shader's not coming through anymore for some reason. So I'll have to play around with that, but that's my basic game. And that's the basic framework. It's pretty simple and done. It's an escape room. I wanted to kind of veer away from the like typical escape room type games. Also, I just like had a realization yesterday that I'm gonna have to play like 40 or 50 escape rooms next week. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how many I can successfully get through and how many are flops. What are you going to have on the other side of the tank's glass? The dentist office? Yeah, so I'll have from the movie, it has, so on like this side is like the dentist office, and then there's a dividing wall, and the tank is actually in the middle of the dividing wall, and then on this side is like the waiting room. And so I'll try to recreate that as best I can. That's really going to be like probably one of my last things. And if I can't get to it, I'll just add in like a skybox of a dentist office or something. And then out here, I'm going to add, he basically just had a countertop. So it was like a countertop. And then over here is where like the window was. And so basically the idea is for you to get to the window. So you just have to like swim over there or something. But I may like, put the window pretty close. So you don't have to swim too far, but yeah, so it's pretty simple. You grab a rock, throw the rock, swim with the rock over to the little spinning turbine thing. Climb back through the, you just have to wait the certain amount of time, but the idea is you climb back through the, and I might have a trigger here that actually triggers. That's probably actually a good idea. I'll add in a on this, add in a cube that is like a trigger box for this little area here. Whoops. Did not mean to go to 2D mode. So this will be like a 6x6 box ish. Yeah, that'll work. And so if you get it, if you hit this trigger box, then we'll start the the countdown, and it's a trigger. That kind of thing. Yeah, so you have to get the pebble, go to the filter box, jam the gear, climb back through the tube, wait a certain amount of time, and then basically just swim out and escape. And that's how you escape the room. It's like 6 steps, but it's simple enough for a game jam, and hopefully fun for people to enjoy. So goodness. I think I'm gonna sign off, but if you guys have any more suggestions, or if you are also participating in the game jam and want to share your work, there's a channel in the Discord for showing off, and that's where we kind of hang out and chat. All beard or die. That's okay. The game jam is, for all intents and purposes, just a learning experience. So the idea is to, learn how to do it the best way you can, and have fun. And I know a lot of people have joined teams, and they're doing the game jam as part of a team, which is pretty fun. And I'm excited to actually see everyone's game jams and try to solve a lot of puzzles, because I do like the little puzzle stuff, and escape rooms are pretty fun. My wife loves escape rooms too, so I might try to get her to play some of these games as well. It'll be fun. It'll be really cool. Cool. Well, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. If you like the video, then I'll probably do more live streams. I'll probably do more live streams even if you don't like the video. So, but if you want to get notified when I do live streams, make sure you hit the notification bell, because that really does help me out, and you get to know when I'm going live, and you get to come hang out. So I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. The next week is probably mostly going to be about game jam stuff, and then I'll get back into tutorials. So have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see y'all later.